Hi everyone, I'm continuing this series of the Yalkut Yosef at the moment. We're doing a few times a week learning Sephardi Halacha over here. We are on Siman 276 at the moment, and today we're actually talking all about a lamp turned on by a non-Jewish person on Shabbat. Dinei ner shadlak al yedei goy. So it's a concise session, but a very important one. Okay, instructing a non-Jewish person to turn on lights on Shabbat. Can you do that or not? You're in a crisis over here. You've got nowhere to see. You've got a non-Jew living near you. Let's find out. Asur lama legoy afilu b'derech remes she'adlik et haor letzorecha Yisrael ve'im avar v'tziva et hagoy le'adlik et haner b'shvilo b'Shabbat asur Yisrael li'anot ma'or zeh va'af tzarich letzet ma'bayit. Okay, it's forbidden to instruct a non-Jewish person to turn on a light for a Jew's benefit, or even to hint to a non-Jew to do so. If a Jew did instruct a non-Jew to turn on a light for a Jew's benefit, it is forbidden for any Jew to make use of the light he turned on, and they must leave that room over here. Okay. אבל אם הגוי הדליק את האור בשביל ישראל שלא על פי ציוויו, אין צריך לצאת מהבית. If the non-Jew will do this light for the Jewish person, but the Jewish person did not instruct him, then he won't have to necessarily leave the room or the house. אסור ליהנות מאור זה, אפילו למי שלא הדליק בשבילו, כל שדליקו לצורך ישראל, ולהתפלל לאור זה בבית כנסת, בקיום צבא, יש להקל כשאפשר בלא זה. אבל אם הגוי הדליק נר לעצמו, או לצורך חולה ישראל, אפילו אין בו סכנה, או לצורך קטן שדינו כחולה שאין בו סכנה, מותר לכל ישראל להשתמש לאורו. Okay, so if a non-Jewish person turns on a light for a Jew's benefit, but he was not instructed to do so, it is not necessary to leave the room. It's forbidden, however, for any Jew to make use of that light, even if he is not among those for whom the light was turned on. If one would not be able to pray at all without this light, one may be lenient and pray by this light. If the non-Jewish person turned the light on for himself, or for the sake of someone even moderately ill, or for a small child, who for this purpose has a status equal to someone moderately ill, a child as naturally, then anyone at that stage may benefit from the light. Halacha bet. We're talking about non-Jew who turned on extra lights over here. Maybe you didn't need those lights. Im hayat ner dolek bebeit Yisrael, uba goy vadlik od ner betzad haner harishon, mutar lishtamesh leoro, kol od haner harishon dolek. Then if he's going to add these extra lights on top of the first ones which are on anyway, then you are able to benefit from those stages. You didn't need it. You had light anyway. ואף על פי שעכשיו על ידי הנר שהדליק הגוי נעשה אור גדול יותר, בכל מקום, כיוון דבלאו הכי, היה אפשר להשתמש לאור הנר הראשון. Even though that there is more, let's say, light around over here, it's permissible to use all this or ein asur b'shvil tosefet or. There's no issur forbiddenness because there's an extra light over here. ובלבד ששני הנרות נמצאים יחד זה אצל זה, אבל אם הם רחוקים הרבה זה מזה, אסור ללמוד לאור הנר האסור. If they are separated from a big distance from each other, then you should not really learn by the light which was lit on in the forbidden manner. ומיהו אחר שיכבה הנר הראשון, אסור להשתמש לאורו של הנר השני שהדליקו הגוי. What is the first light? A switch off from a time switch for one reason or another. And now you've just got the one that was switched on by a goy over here. Then you should not, at that stage in time, you should not benefit from it also. ועדים, אם הגוי מעצמו הוסיף שמן בנר הדולק, שמותר להשתמש לאורו עד כדי שיאכלו השמן שהיה בו כבר, ואחר כך אסור. וכשיש אור חלש בחדר, באופן שיכול לקרוא לאור זה, אך אין הקריאה נוחה לו כל כך, מותר לומר לנוכרי, קשה לקרוא לאור חשמל זה. אף אם הנוכרי יבין מדבריו שצריך להדליק עוד נורה נוספת, אף על פי כן מותר לומר לא כן. Okay. So you could say that if a non-Jewish person added oil to an oil lamp so that it would last longer for the benefit of the Jews, they may benefit from that light only for as long as the lamp would have remained burning had he not added any oil to it. If there is dim light in a room by which one can read, albeit somewhat uncomfortably, it's permitted to mention, then you can hint to a non-Jewish person with a remez form. It's really difficult to read it with only this much light. Although the non-Jew understands that he is being requested to turn on more lights, this is permitted over here. Why is this? Since it is permitted, since it's possible to read even without the light that the non-Jew turned on, he does not derive a full measure of benefit from the non-Jew's lights. Halacha Gimel now. We're talking about if the original light is extinguished. If you had the light, it was on already, and then it got switched off, and now the non-Jews switch on the light, not through the correct parameters, then you can't benefit from that light. You can't read from it. We're continuing. אם אירע שנפסק החשמל בבית כנסת בליל שבת או בליל יום הכיפורים באמצע שקוראים קריאת שמע ותפילה, מותר לומר לנוכרי להדליקו לצורך הרבים שקוראים קריאת שמע ומתפללים מתוך הסידור. ואף על פי שהעיקר לדינה כדעת הרמב"ם ומרן השולחן ערוך שאין להקל אלא בשבות דשבות במקום מצווה מכל מקום. בשבות במקום מצווה דרבים יש לסמוך על דעת בעל העיתות שכתב להקל בשבות במקום מצווה, ובלבד שדעת כמה מהראשונים, כדעת בעל העיתור, והחדש שהטוב לעשות כן על ידי אמירת לנוכרי, שאומר לנוכרי חברו, שיש אומרים שבכך גבנה, חשיב שבות דשבות. If the electricity in a synagogue suddenly goes off while the Kehillah, the congregation, is reciting the Arvit Tefillah naturally on Friday evening or on Yom Kippur evening, it's allowed to instruct the non-Jew to turn it back on so that the Kehillah can continue to the Tefillah. The opinion of the Rambam and the Shulchan Aruch is that one may instruct the non-Jew to perform an act that is rabbinically prohibited if it is necessary for a mitzvah. One may not instruct him to perform an act that is prohibited by the Torah. However, even if it's for a mitzvah, in this case, since it is for the sake of an entire Kehillah of it, performing a mitzvah and not just on individual, we rely on the opinion of the Ba'al HaYitur, who permitted it, especially since there are other poskim who agreed with this ruling. However, if possible, we should instruct the non-Jew to ask a second non-Jew to turn on the light, since there are poskim who ruled that then it will be permitted, even according to Shulchan Aruch. So we try and satisfy all opinions, so we are safe. Power outage in a yeshiva. What's the din over here? V'hu hadin b'zei b'yeshiva shenifsek hachashmal machmat eze kilkul v'yeh efshar lilmod shesh lakel b'zeh kama. You can also, this code of contact can be also practiced if a yeshiva, there's an outage in the yeshiva also. What if there's a power outage at home? אם אירע קצה חשמל לי בביתו והבית חשוך וקשה לו לקדש ולאכול בחושך ובכך גם מתבטל מלימודו ומעונג שבת, יכול להביא את הגוי עליו לבית ושאלו אם רצונו לשתות או לאכול איזה דבר, וכאשר ישיב בחיוב יאמר לו אבל אי אפשר להביא דבר זה מפני החושך, ואז יבין הגוי וידליק את האור לצורכו, ואגב ישראל יענה מאור זה. ואם אחד שידליק רואו שהגוי בא לכבות את האור, יכול לצוותו שלא יכבה. Okay, so friends, if the electricity goes off in one son, leaving the house dark over here, and it's difficult to recite Kiddush, even the meal and study Torah, one should go and invite a non-Jew over to have a drink or a bite to eat. Once a non-Jew is in the house over here, remember there's dinim about can he eat with non-Jews or not? Well, that's a different topic altogether. Once a non-Jew is in the house over here, one should explain to him that it is difficult to serve him in the dark. Not naturally, you're hinting to him over here. Then the non-Jew will understand that he is to turn on the light for his own benefit. Once he does that, the Jews may also benefit from the light. So afterwards, if the non-Jew decides to also turn off the light that he turned on, the Jews may tell him not to do so. Okay. So now how about to turn lights off? What's the din with regard to that? Mish kashelo leheradem. Ksho'or chashmal daluk. Mutar lomar lenachri kashe lishul kashe yesh ba'or b'cheder. Hu yavin ma'alav lechabot hachashmal. Okay, so one can hint it's difficult, light is on in the room, and the non-Jews in the house, you can sort of hint that it's difficult to go to sleep. Hint, hint, you know what to do with lights. You can't do it in an instructive language to him, in instructive commandment to him. You've got to do it through a hinting methodology. All the more so, this is going to be the case when someone is sick in the house or there is a new baby inside the house, naturally. Okay, halakha vav, automatic doors on Shabbat. דלת חשמלית הפועלת על ידי כך, שכאשר האדם מתקרב אל דלת, היא נפתחת מעלה על ידי עין אלקטרוניה. Got these doors naturally in all the hotels and many places where automatically by just coming near the door it's going to open an automated door. יש להיזהר בשבת שלא להתקרב אל דלת זו כדי שלא לגרום לפתיחת בשבת. Got to be careful not to go near it so you're going to trigger the automated door to open because of you. וימתין עד שאדם אחר ייכנס לבניין ואז ייכנס יחד עמו. You might need to go inside the building for one reason or another. So what you can do is wait for someone else to enter to trigger this non-Jewish person naturally, and then go in with him over there. Then it's not you that have done it yourself. Same procedure if you're coming out. ואם בא הנוכרי או פתח הדלת מיוחד בשביל ישראל, המקל להיכנס לבניין יש לו על מה לסמוך. כאשר בלאו הכי יכול להיכנס לבניין דרך הפתח הצדדי. Okay. Okay, so okay. So let's just say hypothetically, non-Jew came, opened the door, especially for the Jewish person. He sees the Jewish person waiting, and is a then you can be actually lenient and going with him, even if he does it for you. Because it could be that there's another way of entering the building over here. So you come in through that way. Someone else has triggered that anyway. Okay. Hotel rooms with electronic locks. Someone's booking a hotel. You've got to be careful. What's the procedures? Opening? Will you have to be Machalel Shabbat? Will you have to put on the Shabbat settings? מי שנקלע לבית מלון שחדריו נפתחים מנהלים באמצעות עין אלקטרונית או על ידי כרטיס המוכנס לחריץ שבדלת ואין אפשרות אחרת אין לשהות בשבת במלון זה. Okay. It's forbidden to spend Shabbat in a hotel in which all the rooms are locked and unlocked using electronic keys or cards, or where all the entrances open through the mechanism of an electric eye. Over here. ואם הדבר נתקלה לו אחר, שקבע נמצא במלון בשבת, ואינו יכול לצאת מחדרו כדי לקדש ולאכול להתפלל, אלא אם כן יפעיל מעגל חשמלי. מוצע לומר לגוי שיבטל את מערכת החשמל בדרך קלקול, כגון הוצאת הפיזורים, כדי שיוכל לצאת ולהיכנס. Okay. As before, it's forbidden to spend Shabbat in a hotel in which all the rooms are locked and unlocked, using electronic keys or cards, or where all entrances open through a mechanism of an electric eye. If a person checked into such a hotel and did not realize it until Shabbat began, and now he's stuck in his room without the ability to go out to eat the Shabbat meals or to pray, it's allowed to instruct a non-Jew to disable the system by removing a fuse or some similar action. Okay, halakha chet. דלת שנפתחת על ידי לחצן חשמלי המופעל על ידי שומר גוי היושב בפתח, אם ישנה אפשרות של פתיחת ידנית על ידי מפתח והגוי פתח לו את הדלת על ידי הלחצן החשמלי, מותר להכניס לבית. ואם אין אפשרות כזה, נכון להמתין עד שיבוא אחד מהשכנים הגויים, וכאשר יפתחו עבורו את הדלת יכנס עמו, וחכם עיניו בראשו צריך להסיר את העין על הצד היותר טוב מערב שבת. If one wishes to enter a building and a non-Jew is a guard at the entrance and he permits entry by pressing a button that unlocks the door automatically over here, electronically, he permits entry by pressing a button that unlocks the door electronically, then if there exists an option of unlocking unlocking the door manually, it's permissible to enter even if the non-Jew unlocks it electronically. Since he had the choice of opening it manually, entering is not considered benefiting from the malacha over here. ואם אין אפשרות כזה, נכון להמתין עד שיבוא אחר משכניס הגויים, וכאשר יפתחו עבורו את הדלת, יכנס עמו, וחכם עיניו בראשו צריך להסדיר את העניין על הצד היותר טוב מערב שבת. If the door can be unlocked only electronically, one should wait until the door is unlocked on behalf of a non-Jew who wishes to enter or exit, and then the Jew should enter as the door is opened for that person. If someone knows from before Shabbat that he will need to use such an entrance, he should make advanced arrangements to minimize the problems this entails over here. Chet Aleph. Let's do a few more halachot over here. אסור לומר לנוכרי לפתוח את המזגן בשבת כדי להקל מהחום. אולם כשיש חום גדול ויש שם ילדים, או מי שסובל מאוד מהחום ויש לו צעה מזה, יש מקום להקל על ידי אמירה לגוי שידליק את המזגן. אם אינו מבין בלשון רמז. Okay. It's forbidden to instruct the non-Jew to turn on air conditioner on a hot Shabbat day. If there are very small children in the house, which they can suffer from dehydration potentially, or if someone suffers from the heat unbearably, it's possible to be lenient and instruct the non-Jew to turn it on. One should attempt to hint to him that one wishes him to turn it on, and if he does not grasp one's intentions, one may even tell him directly to turn it on. Now we're talking about lights in the stairwell. What's the din within regards to that? הלכה ח' ב' נוכרי שהדליק את האור בחדר המדרגות בשבת מותר ליהודי לעלות לביתו, ואף אם הנוכרי הדליק את האור במיוחד עבור ישראל מותר לעלות, כיוון שבלאו הכי היה יכול לעלות במדרגות גם בלעדי האור. Let's say a non-Jewish person turned on the light in the stairwell. It's going to be anyway allowed for the Jew to climb up the stairs of his apartment, even if he did it especially for the Jewish person's benefit. Since you're able to climb up the stairs in the dark also, you can be careful and everything else. Light turned on for a number of people. What's that? נוכרי שהדליק את האור עבור מספר אנשים שרובם הם נוכרים. מותר לישראל להשתמש לאור חשמל זה, אפילו אם הגוי מכיר את הישראל. Okay. If a non-Jew turned on a light for the benefit of a group of people, and the majority of those people are non-Jewish people, then even the Jews may benefit from the light itself. If the majority are Jews, however, or if Jews comprise exactly half the group over here, then it is going to be forbidden. אבל אם קצב לא שכר עבור מה שידליק, אסור אפילו ברוב נוכרים. ואם היו שם רוב ישראל, או אפילו מחצה על מחצה, אסור. ואם יש הוכחה שהגוי ידליק לצורך הנוכרים בלבד, אפילו אם יש שם רוב ישראל, מותר לישראל להשתמש לאורו, והוא שלא ציווה אותו ישראל על כך. Okay. It does not matter whether or not the non-Jew is acquainted with the Jews for whom he turned on the light. If it is apparent that the non-Jew's purpose in turning on the light was specifically for the non-Jews, then even the majority of the Jews, if there are, may benefit from the light. If a Jewish person had instructed the non-Jew to turn it on, however, it's forbidden even if it is obvious that he did so for the non-Jew's benefit. If a Jew had arranged to pay this non-Jew for his service, then it's forbidden under all circumstances at that point. Okay, let's try and get a bit more done. Now we're in Siman 277. Let's do a second one. Indirectly extinguishing a fire on Shabbat. Okay, what's the din over here? Lamps in front of the doors. What's the din? In ladlik merev Shabbat ner balnicho keneged adelet. You can't light a ner, a candle, by the door on Shabbat. Sheesh lachush shvat shiftach et adelet aruach techabe et haner. We're worried that once you open the door, naturally, it's going to extinguish the light. ולכן ner שמונח כנגד הדלת. אסור לפתוח את הדלת בעוד נר דלוק. שמא יכבה הרוח. נכון, also the same thing. If you're putting it opposite the door, it's not going to be allowed to open the door because it could switch off. ואפילו אם פותח הדלת בנחת בלעת, שלא לגרום לכיבוי הנר, גם בזה אסור, אפילו אם אין אתה רוח. Even if there's no wind and you're doing it gently, still there's a high chance it's going to switch off, so you can't do it. ואפילו אם אין שם אלא רוח מצויה, even if there's not this concept of a, let's say a gentle breeze, gentle wind over here. Okay. ובשעת הדחק יש מקלים פתיחת הדלת לאט בנחת. There are those that will be lenient in a press situation if you can do it gently and follow that code of conduct. אבל מותר לסגור את הדלת או את החלון שכנגד הנר. But you're going to be allowed to close, not open, close a door or a window, which is opposite the, why is this? ואם החדר גדול ואניח את הנרות מול הדלת, אך ברחוב. באופן שלא יגיע רוח אל הנרות. מותר לפתוח את הדלת. If it's in a place where it's not going to affect the wind is, and you're doing it gently, then seemingly that'll be okay. וכן מותר להדליקן שם, אף שהוא מול הדלת, מאחר והוא רחוק מהפתח, באופן שלא מגיע רוח לשם. It's permissible to kindle a lamp and position it in front of the doorway, as long as it is so distant from the doorway that it's unlikely to be extinguished when the door is open. In that case, it's allowed to open the door as well in those cases also. What about lamp? If you've got a lamp on a wall behind the door over here, people could have that over there. What's the din? אימנה קבוע בכותל שוחרי הדלת, אסור לפתוח הדלת כדרכו, שמא תהה הדלת נוקשת על הנר ותכבנו, אלא פותח ונועל בנחת. If a lamp is permanently attached to the wall behind the door, it's forbidden to push the door open, since it might knock against the lamp and extinguish it. One must open it carefully to avoid this from happening over here. Halacha Gimel at the moment, touching electric lamps. What's it? מותר לגעת במנהרות חשמלית העומדת אצל העמוד או על הבית של שליח ציבור או כשמנורת דולקות ובלבד שלא ינענע את המנורה. Some poskim rule that it's forbidden to touch a chandelier that is hanging from the ceiling, since the slightest touch will cause it to move. Over here. אבל במנורת תלויה יש אומרים שאסור לגעת בה, ואם יש חשש יכבה את המנורה, כגון שבנורה רופפת וקדומת, צריך להיזהר שלא לגעת בה, וגם שלא להשין על הטבע או על העמוד של השליח ציבור, כדי שלא יבוא לידי כיבוי והדלקת שבת. Okay. It's permissible to touch an electric floor lamp or table lamp on Shabbat, even when the lights are burning, as long as one does not move the lamp. If the light bulbs are loose, let's say, and the slightest movement is liable to cause the light to flicker off and on, one must take care not to touch it at all, or even to lean heavily on the table, and that one does not accidentally cause the light to go on and go off and on naturally. Two more short hilachot over here before I learn the machavruta at the moment. Okay, now we are talking about candle that fell onto a tablecloth over here. That could be dangerous. ner Shabbat דולק שנפל על המפה בשבת, ייקחו את המפה עם הנר, וכשהיה סמוך לרצפה ינרו את הנר מהמפה בנחת, כדי שהנר ייפול ממנה. Naturally, if a burning wax candle falls onto a tablecloth on Shabbat, one should lift the entire tablecloth with a candle on it, lower it to the floor, and gently shake the candle off the tablecloth over here. That will be the code of conduct here. ומותר לעשות כן, אף כשישלחו שהנר יכבה על ידי כך, אבל אם בוודאי יכבה מיד אסור. Okay, this is permitted even though there is a possibility that one will therefore extinguish the candle. If it's certain that one will extinguish the candle here, then it's going to be forbidden. Okay. ואם יש חשש שהדליקה המקל לטלטל את הנר ולברוא למקום אחר, יש לו על מנת שיסמוך. Okay. If it's likely that the candle will ignite the tablecloth through this procedure, one may pick up the candle and carry it away at that stage. In any case, it's forbidden to extinguish a candle unless there is a genuine life-threatening situation over here. Okay. אבל אין לכבותו אלא אם כן יש חשש פיקוח נפש, וכן נר של נפש שיתחיל לבעור בשבת, ויש חשש שיגרום להדליקה, ויש חשש פיקוח נפש, וכגון שהבית נמצא בתוך בית הדירות, שישלחו שהאש תתלקח ולא יוכלו להפסיק להציל את התינוקות, או שהאש תפגע מכלי הגז ודבר יגרום לפצוץ לסכנה, בוודאי שמותר לטלטל את הנר בסלוקו לחצר. ואם אין חשש לפיקוח נפש, אלא הפסד ממון של שריפת הבית, יש אומרים שמותר לטלטל את הנר לכל החצר, ויש חולקים, וכן נראה דעת מרן שולחן ערוך. ומכל מקום, כיוון שהדם בו על ממנו, במקום צריך גדול המקל, וזה לא הפסיד, שיש אומרים שגם דעת מרן היא לכולה, אף עדיף יותר שיטלטל את הנר בצלצול מן הצד, או כלאחר יד, ובזה יש לומר דכולי עלמא יוצא להציב במקום הפסד ממון גדול. Okay. If a kerosene lamp began burning out of control and there is a likelihood that it will set the house on fire, causing a life-threatening situation, one may carry the entire lamp out of the house. One example of when it would pose a mortal threat is if one resides in an apartment building and one cannot be sure that it can be safely evacuated. Another example is if there is a danger that the fire would reach gas lines or gas cylinders and cause a major explosion. If there is definitely no mortal threat, but there is likelihood that the fire will destroy one's house, some poskim ruled that one may carry the burning lamp outside, but others ruled that it is forbidden. It appears that the Shulchan Aruch agreed with the stricter opinion. Even so, it is human nature to become overly alarmed over the loss of one's possessions, and therefore if one chooses to act according to the lenient opinion, it would not be considered sinful, for it is possible to interpret the Shulchan Aruch to agree with the lenient opinion. One should at least attempt to carry the lamp out in an unusual manner, or to carry it on top of something else, and in that way minimize the transgression. There is a basis to say that all poskim would agree that this is permitted in the event where a great loss is at stake over here. That will be permissible in that case. Lamp on trees, what's the din over here? If you've got a lamp on a tree. You've got a party in the family. And you can do the party outside in the garden or in the courtyard. Naturally, you can put the lights connected on the trees and everything else in the courtyard over there before Shabbat naturally. We're not worried that you're going to take away this lamp if it's going to switch off. Okay. But on Yom Tov it's different. You cannot put it on the tree. Even before Shabbat comes in. Since okay. In contrast, one may not perch a lamp on a tree before Yom Tov to illuminate an area during the evening, since there is reason for concern that someone might remove the lamp from the tree, since it is permissible to remove a burning lamp on Yom Tov. That would be a transgression of the halacha that one may not make use of a tree on Yom Tov. So we concluded there. We're going to start next on Siman 278. Lilu Nishmat, Rabbi Leo D's wife, Leah, Lucy, and his two daughters. And may we just see brachot in Israel and just good things. Take care.